Welcome to commUNITY. This month we're celebrating women and a little bit of...
A wee bit of the Irish.
I'm Claudine Ewing.
And I'm Pete Gallivan, and we're starting this month out in the Old First Ward, speaking of the Irish, and the Old First Ward Community Center, and we are joined by Claire Sumbrum, the Executive Director, or chaos coordinator here. It's swiped in from the desk, you know.
It's coming out in handy every job.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, tell us about the community center and why it's kind of the glue for this part of the city.
Well, you know, this center was built in 1994. It goes back, there's a lot of roots down here with the heritage of the Old First Ward Community Center, Irish heritage like we spoke of, but it's really becoming a beautiful melting pot. We have the Barclow buildings, those apartments went up. We have breweries coming around. We have Buffalo Creek Academy uses our gym. I love bringing community together. So I've traveled a lot around the nation. We just try to be the glue as to being that space that you can come and get whatever help you need, whether it's advice, whether it's using the food pantry, whether it's the housing department, anything.
Whether it's shooting some hoops.
Oh yeah, they're shooting some hoops.
Yeah.
They're shooting some bread out the side door from Panera. Panera comes on Tuesdays. You know, they bring free deliveries for the whole community to come in. A lot of people don't know those things that we have going on here.
When we talk about women in various communities, in the Irish community right here in Buffalo, there are so many women, but we wanted to celebrate you because it's a new generation, right?
It really
We
is.
appreciate the old, but
Correct.
we have to embrace the young.
I come from a very strong family of women. My mother was a Carrig, who was a Leahy. I also have some rum in my blood. It's very strong. So yes, I want to carry that torch down here. Like I said, my family grew up down here. My parents have been married for over 50 years and met down here, had a bar over on Mackinac. Being a woman in this community means so much. I think that there's so much strength in an Irish woman. I think there's strength in women, period.
I think the moral of this neighborhood, and especially with the Perry community coming back,
Yes.
is this neighborhood was a place where immigrants could get a foothold here.
Correct.
And new Americans and just kind of a melting pot where you can kind of start your path toward the American dream.
We are really like the first little blurb off of the metro area. And there's 405 units coming in on Cell Park. We're so excited for. And we want everyone to come around and be a part of the Irish heritage. And we want to learn about everybody else's heritage too. So we can have things like that on community night.
I was able to also march as we do every year, in the Old Neighborhood Parade. Starts off in the valley, comes over the bridge in the ward, and someone made the mistake of letting the Gallivans lead the parade this year. We were right behind the bagpipes, and it's because the respectable one of us, Chip Butler, was the Grand Marshal of this year's parade. It was kind of cool. We stopped and took this picture at our grandfather's boyhood home on Elk Street. So I was lucky enough to have myself and my wife Sarah and my daughter Hannah, and also my son Ben and his girlfriend Natalie. And it was just a great day was had by all, as they say.
Author-storyteller Rona Peeler-Drinkard will tell you that friendship matters. It's the title of her first book. Fiction, yes, but centered in Buffalo.
Three very different ladies who are best friends, and they're navigating their ups and downs while supporting one another.
Born in Buffalo, now living in Maryland, and being away is what prompted her to use the pen and keyboard to reconnect. Her book, Friendship Matters, is fiction, but it's become a movement and a vibe where women get together, read, talk at venues and events, and she calls it a movement.
You're going to laugh out loud. It's got love, it's got romance, and most of all, it's got friendship.
Storytelling allows her to reconnect with home.
Who better to speak about us or uplift one another than ourselves, in my opinion.
The independent writer is self-published and creating a space for women to immerse themselves and connect.
I think that you just can't go through without remembering an impact that a woman has made in your life, whatever role she's played. And I think that we have to continue to express and share our knowledge and experiences, because that is what keeps us strong.
including her aunt.
She was the first Black nurse accepted into the St. Mary's School of Nursing in Niagara Falls. She was not accepted in Buffalo because they wanted a picture, and once they received the picture, they declined her.
She went on to get her master's at age 73.
I always tell my daughter, you know, everything that you do matters. And so we represent one another. You have to sow into those that sowed into you and pay it forward.
Her book has won 13 awards in 4 different genres. The Matters of Friendship is her new book. The Rona D and Friends book tour coming to Deco Lounge in downtown Buffalo in April, along with 2 other female best-selling authors. Women celebrating women and friendship.
In the 125-year history of the village of Kenmore, trustee Brittany Jones.
I am the first Black person to hold this position, from my understanding. The historians have told me.
Jones is a mother and a law clerk for Judge Jeanette Ogden, and driven by a calling to serve the public. She didn't know that her appointment to the Kenmore Village Board would be a historic one until Mayor Patrick Mang told her shortly before she was sworn in. A year later, the significance of her role and leadership is not lost on her.
It's significant because when you're involved, you have a seat at the table and you get to make decisions for your community. And so it gives me an opportunity to bring a different perspective that may not have been a part of the discussions from years past.
One of those challenges is at the national level, and a rolling back of policies that emphasize diversity, equity, and inclusion.
It is hard to see. I mean, diversity is important. It's not a threat. It's not a threat to our community. It only strengthens our community.
Coming up on Community, we're going to introduce you to Kyla Hayes, a real high school hoop star.
Just being a leader to the young girls and helping them. But yeah, just coming out here, winning another championship was one of my goals.
Welcome back to Community, and this month we are, of course, celebrating women and also women in sports.
In very different ways.
And new opportunities.
If you want to know how much Kyla Hayes means to the Cardinal O'Hara Ladyhawks, let head coach Nick O'Neill tell you.
Everything starts through her and ends through her.
You can call the senior forward the team's MVP, and after last week, you can call her a record breaker.
I knew I was a few points away.
The St. John's commit became the all-time girls Monsignor Martin scoring leader, reaching 2,625 career points in the team's win over St. Mary's that claimed an 11th league title in 12 seasons.
It was a big accomplishment. Passing Shay Shesky, she's a very great player, and I looked up to her. So now I'm just very proud of myself, all the work I put in over the years, and just to do it as my last game in Buffalo was kind of special.
The record, just another accolade in what's been a dominant season, averaging 31 points and over 13 rebounds per game, en route to winning League Player of the Year honors for a second straight season.
Coming into this season, you can tell my game's completely changed from my freshman year. We're just really focused on the state championship right now. That's been my goal these last 4 years, and we've gotten close every year, but this is my last one, so I'm gonna try to make it as far as we possibly can.
And with the state title or not, Hayes leaves behind a legacy that extends beyond the court.
It's her off the court stuff. It's her working with some of the disabled kids here. It's her sitting down with the freshmen for lunch or taking them to get something to eat. It's just a lot of things that I would tell girls to focus in on that, how to be a great student athlete, how to be a great person, learn how to lead like she does, not by talking, but by example.
An example of a leader, and now a record holder as well.
Well, the Golden Eagles nest is getting a little bigger here at Brockport.
Well, anytime you add an NCAA sport, this is our 24th sport, it's a big deal.
And making its mark in college sports, announcing that they are adding women's flag football in the fall.
There's a lot of interest in women's flag football right now. We're super excited about it on campus, and there's a lot of momentum right now.
The popularity of the club team at Brockport is driving this move, something that sophomore Caitlin Roman has seen before at Clarence High School when Section 6 added the sport to its varsity ranks.
Definitely a big deal in high school. We started off as a club and moved to varsity, so it's amazing just seeing all the different things that we've worked for actually come to life so that we can play varsity.
Now the Empire 8 Conference is following suit. Brockport, Geneseo, Elmira, Hartwick, and Russell Sage will compete in just the 3rd Division III conference in the country and the 5th among all NCAA divisions.
Getting to play football, definitely something I never would have imagined, but I couldn't be happier about it.
So for players like Kat Aldhouse, who has played other sports, it's about finding the right fit and a sense of community.
The first time I stepped on the field and played flag with the girls, clicked like immediately. I knew that this was my sport. I tried soccer, I tried lacrosse, I tried swimming, I tried everything and nothing fit, but I tried flag football on a whim and I found my people. I found what I wanted to do. So I'm hoping that other girls who have had those experiences will at least come try out, see how it is, and hopefully find their sport.
And both of these young ladies say this is a major step in opening new opportunities for women in sports.
We're here and like the time is now, like why not us, why not now, you know?
It's more than a sport, isn't it?
It is more than a sport.
And what's your name?
Amara.
Amara? Okay, my name's Millie. Is it okay if I join you guys and read you all a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Millie Degbo is a junior at Howard University. She's one of 16 college students spending their spring break in Buffalo, engaging with students from inner city schools, including Westminster Community Charter School.
We were just lucky enough for them to, choose Buffalo and then choose our school to be one of the ones that they've come and worked with. And it's great. Our students are so excited. They eat lunch in the cafeteria with the kids. It's just really a great opportunity for our students to see what they can do and where they can be.
Howard University students are reading to kids in kindergarten through 2nd grade and giving presentations to 3rd through 8th graders on college readiness. Degbo says this is her 3rd year participating in the program.
I love working with these children that look like me and inspiring them to end up in the position that I am. I know that I wouldn't be where I am at Howard without people who look like me, motivating me to do what I can to make the best out of my life.
Degbo says while the university pays for their hotel stay, churches and local businesses across the country chip in to pay for the students' meals. In addition to thanking the Buffalo community for the hospitality, she shares a message to the students.
They can do anything that they put their mind to, that there's nothing that's too far out of reach, that they always have the opportunity to do something. I want them to know that they are capable, and I want them to feel empowered in that by looking at us and what we're doing.
Well, we just saw some new opportunities for women in sports, but that's not the only place where women are gaining ground.
They're also gaining ground in construction. Here's Kelly Dudzik.
We're starting on the 2nd floor and we're doing a refresh in 3, 4, and 5 as well.
Haley Skidmore is a project engineer with ARC Building Partners, and at the Westin, she's the assistant project manager.
I'm pretty much boots on the ground, managing, supervising.
She works with the contractors to make sure everything is on schedule.
Still in budget, everything's looking okay, and then dealing with anything that's brought up in the field that might differ from the drawings, dealing with that and, reaching out to the architect and design team.
Haley went to college for interior architecture and design, and after an internship in construction, decided this would be her career.
It's definitely been getting more popular with women to be involved in the field, but it's definitely one of those things where you have to try to get over the imposter syndrome, and especially when you're in rooms and meetings with all men, just reminding yourself to be confident and that you deserve to be in the room as much as anyone else.
Haley is a member of NAWIC, the National Association of Women in Construction, and says it's helped her build bonds with other women, including Marie Patton.
I've found so many friends, so many sisters, so much support, so many people that I was able to mentor, that we were able to sponsor.
Marie is the president of NAWIC Buffalo Niagara.
Sometimes we have childcare issues. Sometimes we have issues with the people that we're working with that are different from the ones that men have. So it's really important to be able to have that network of women that is going to be there to support you.
It's a really rewarding career, especially seeing buildings that directly affect the community. And especially in Buffalo, it's a great place to get involved in construction because there's so many projects going on in any given point in time.
Our Lauren Hall, she's a new mom.
Yeah, and now she's going to take us to Mommy Village.
As the saying goes, every new mom needs a village.
Some moms don't know they get pregnant, they don't know what to do. I already had a plan.
When Kara Grant welcomed twin baby girls in March 2023, she worked with Shayna Broughton as her doula.
We have bi-monthly meetups where all of the moms pregnant, postpartum, and breastfeeding all kind of come together. We share a meal.
We talked about nutrition. It was a space to be with other mothers who were also pregnant. There was another twin mom, so that was also nice. So there was someone that was going through the same thing that I was going through.
When Kara ended up needing that village the most, they were there for her.
I did have a wonderful pregnancy and beginning of my postpartum journey. Unfortunately, I did lose one of my twins at the end of 2023. And I will say this is where having a doula in postpartum is so amazing. Shayna was in the hospital with me. Shayna came to my house. She sat on the floor with me. She was at the graveside with me. She was at our funeral service. She really just made sure that at that time I had the support and help that I need, that my family had the support and help that we needed.
Up until now, Shayna has provided her services out of her home. Next week, she'll expand them when our Mommy Village opens on Jefferson Avenue.
We're looking at probably close to over 100 babies and moms in various parts, of their journey come to meet me. So they get to actually see a space where you can grow a little bit more. So I'm really excited.
Moms will be able to meet with doulas, get lactation support, meditate, and just be with each other.
I really love when the moms come together. Like they are separate appointments, but they're gonna sit in this waiting room like intentionally together as they are basically, carrying babies or nursing babies or, like getting babies ready for school. All of those things are happening and you have like a friend that's going through it with you.
Because when moms have the support they need, it benefits the entire community.
I think this is absolutely awesome. I think it puts this work in such a positive spotlight for the location that we are in this historic Jefferson community. I hope that more mothers learn about doulas, even if they don't want to have one themselves, just to know to have the information. So many times people have asked me, well, what did you do for your pregnancy? And I said, I had an OB and I had a doula. And they're like, well, how was that experience? And I really get excited being able to talk about my doula experience. And it's made me want to entertain also being a doula to be able to help other mothers.
Coming up on Community, we are remembering Greg Oma, and we're going to take you behind the scenes of The Wiz.
Welcome back to Community. Now we want to take a moment to recognize and remember a giant in the community.
His name was Greg Oma.
It was like I had the scarlet letter on my chest.
That was Greg Oma in the early 2000s, never afraid to speak his mind, especially on budget issues.
But I mean, at some point you have to say no.
Greg Oma died a few days ago. He served as deputy parks commissioner at one point.
If we can maintain water quality going into Lake Erie, that's best for all of us.
I think he'll be best remembered as someone who fought for the neighborhood when a lot of people were throwing in the towel.
Those who worked with him and knew him well are sharing memories.
Well, he worked in my office about 40 years ago, but Greg was always a force of nature. He was a powerhouse. You always knew where you stood with him. You always knew his opinion. And some people liked him and some people didn't, but you always got an honest opinion. He was unfiltered.
Former Fillmore District Councilman David Franzik says in 2019, he and Oma were international election inspectors in Ukraine. He was never afraid to challenge the establishment.
He supported India Walton for mayor of the city of Buffalo, and she was an avowed socialist. So Greg's opinions were very, very to the left in the Democratic Party. And so he made powerful enemies.
Over the years, he made headlines for false arrests, but Broadway Fillmore, that was home.
Greg Oma loved Broadway Fillmore. He was a bare-knuckle fighter for Broadway Fillmore in the East Side for 40 years. He's got big shoes to fill. Maybe they'll never be filled.
A founding member of Eugene V. Debs Hall, right near the Central Terminal.
Well, I really credit Greg Oma when he was Erie County legislator many years ago for securing $1 million to seal the roof up at a time when very few elected officials believed that the Central Terminal had a future.
Greg Oma left a mark.
Our last conversation was via text.
and he teased me, and he said that I should run for mayor.
Nowakowski represents the Fillmore district.
Classic example of the older generation fostering the younger generation, not only just in elected office, but around his community. Greg lived on Fillmore Avenue.
He will surely be missed across the city of Buffalo.
Absolutely. You know, he was involved with the Dramatic Circle, and so the arts were important as well on Broadway Fillmore. Well, I had a chance to go behind the scenes of The Wiz when it played at Shays.
That tornado is closing in. Come on, Dorothy.
The Wiz is in town.
When they kill the witch for him, he then has this redeeming quality of like, well, let me help you get what you need. This version, I just say, peace. Like, I'm out. Thank you for helping me, but I'm out.
He plays The Wiz.
What we did with this music is we've taken it clearly out of the 70s and added a contemporary beat to everything. And so it allows us to introduce a whole new generation of audience to fall in love with it again.
Of course, there's the lion. And
you are playing the
Scarecrow.
Ooh.
There are certain things that we as African Americans do and how we present and how we tell stories.
It's the music that drives The Wiz.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Ease on Down the Road, and When I Think of Home, of course. And we're grateful to have You Can't Win to be in this.
Timeless music on stage at Shays.
He's on down the road. Come on, he's on down the road.
Being with Lion, Tin Man, and Dorothy, we go on an amazing journey in this show.
And don't forget Glenda.
Glenda is the good witch of the South. She's one of, I believe, one of four sisters. And she's really full of wisdom. She's full of grace, beauty, elegance.
And showing Dorothy the way to get home.
You should expect fun. You should expect a lot of lights, a lot of joy, a lot of music that will get you dancing. You should see a lot of laughs because there is some comic relief in the show. But more than anything, you should be encouraged and inspired to believe in yourself.
Musicians back then of color couldn't join the white union, so they had their own, what they would do back then. And for 18 years, they kind of bounced around within that corridor. And then finally, in 1934, they would acquire 145 Broadway, and a year later, they would incorporate what we know today as the Colored Musicians Club.
Celebrated women, the Irish, a community icon, and the arts. It's a packed show.
That's right. And that's what community is all about. And guess what? We'll see you next month on Community.